career growth. And we would like to get the experiences of these wonderful ladies and hear their stories so that we all can get insights out of their sharing. That's how we are going to structure this panel discussion today. Now, let's start with, Sabitha. I'm sure this is also one of your favorite questions, and for both of you guys. Maybe this will be a very interesting question for people who are in there. Oh, there you go, Sheila, perfect timing. Glad you're able to join us, Sheila. So we just started the introduction, so go ahead with your introduction too, Sheila.
Yeah, so can you hear me is the question. Excellent. Okay, hi, I'm Sheila Washburn. Sorry about that. So I am the senior product manager in our focused ultrasound therapy group. I have been with the company for over 34 years and have a bunch of experiences that I'm excited to share with you all.
Yeah, wonderful to have you, Sheila. Glad you were able to sort out all your audio challenges. Now, going to the first question, I was going to ask mainly to help with early and mid career. So all three of you ladies have grown this far to a good leadership position in all of your roles, and MIC division, maternal and infant care division, the command center product, and now the ultrasound product. I know, Sheila, your history has been so huge. Now, with all of these, what were the significant challenges that you guys faced in your career journey? And how did you overcome all these challenges? Feel free to share your stories so that the audience will get some benefit out of it. Please go ahead. Sabitha, why don't you get started?
Oh, well, yeah, sure. So in my early career, I've certainly encountered several challenges. I'm sure all of us do. But that ultimately shaped my professional growth that I'm in today. So when it started with my education, when I was really doing my master's degree way back in 1999 in India, so I was the only female student in my structural dynamics class. So I've taken master's degree from structural dynamics. So I was the only female. So being alone in the class, being really only diversity in the class, the first challenge that I had to overcome is really, how would I really show my presence being isolated? So I kind of learned to contain my presence, and eventually took the challenge of really taking some classes for the same class in structural dynamics. So that was really the first challenge when I started really my education. And then when I started my career in the corporate world, so coming from a rural background, and I know some of you, or maybe most of you, so wouldn't have had an opportunity to really get kind of a great exposure to the corporate world. So I started with a limited exposure to the corporate world. So I initially struggled with my own confidence, because I used to have kind of a lurking fear in front of public to really speak properly. So though technically I'm very well versed, but the challenge that I had encountered was, how to really portray myself well, and how do I really show my executive presence? How would I really prove that my articulation is better for the audience to really understand where I'm coming from? So I think a part of my early career in GE, when I started as a design engineer, technically I've proven enough in terms of my own ability to manage the technical contributions. But I took the challenge of really taking kind of a design for Six Sigma black belt role in GE Aviation. So that role from a design, it was required to not only mentor, but you should really lead some classes to train some of the early talent of green belts. So I took that challenge, and it really resulted over, taking training for 400 individuals, mentoring 100 plus Six Sigma Green Belt projects, et cetera, et cetera. So I think quite a few such challenges in my earlier career. So, but these experiences taught me the importance of not really being shy away from the challenges, but instead embrace them as an opportunity for growth and development. So you will be vulnerable at times because you really have that fear. So, but that serves as a opportunity to shape ourselves better. So consider that as an opportunity. I think that's what I did in my career. And from my perspective, being vulnerable at times is important because that's going to really teach us how to groom ourselves better.
Wonderful to hear that, Sabitha. What do you think? What were your challenges and how did you overcome those?
Oh, did you say my name? I didn't quite hear. Oh, yeah.
Neither. Yeah.
I would say for me, just getting into product management was a pretty big challenge. And frankly, I got into it by accident. I am a psychology major for my undergrad. Back then, I barely knew what engineering or software really was. And I think what I've always done from a career perspective is I try to match up where I'm passionate and where I'm good at and just take the opportunities as they come. And so when I kind of discovered, if you will, the world of startups and tech, I just started kind of networking to try to get any job at a startup and really think about, what value can I add? Completely kind of being lucky, got offered a product management job because they said, hey, healthcare, we can teach you product management. And it was really challenging because I was leading product management for a company with no product management experience. And so one of the things I've always done is just be really transparent with what I know and what I don't know. And so even as I was building the product management team, when I was recruiting, I would tell the prospective candidates, hey, this is what I know. This is what you know. We're going to build this team together and lean on each other. And I feel like, especially in product management and even in healthcare, there's no perfect product manager that knows everything, right? It's so complicated. And so I think for me, just being open with what I don't know has always served me really well. I think it takes a lot of courage to say you don't know something versus to fake it till you make it. And that's really worked out well. I think the other piece that I've tried to do is I don't think about my next job. I think about the job and the impact I want to have 2 jobs from now. So that means I have taken pay cuts, I've taken title cuts, I've taken different things that in the short term might look like a step back, but were really important for me to build out skills and experience to kind of get where I am. So I would always, I think thinking about the long term, having kind of belief in yourself and taking some of those risks, I think for me has worked out well. And I guess I'll add along the way, it's definitely been a challenge, especially as a woman in any company, to go on a journey of self-love and self-acceptance. I know that sounds a little bit fluffy, but I think I constantly have felt scrutinized in my career. And so being a loud, direct, gregarious woman, when I say, hey, I don't know something or I do know something, it can put people off. And I've had to kind of work on who I am personally to also get to where I am professionally. And that's really helped as well in my own career. So that's a little from me.
Oh, wow. Wonderful, Lou. I mean, the courage and confidence combined with honesty is a perfect combination. So thank you so much for sharing that, Lou. How about you, Sheila? I'm sure in your 34 years of career, you might have faced tons of challenges with all your movement and in one company. So why don't we hear some of your challenges, Sheila?
Yeah. So, right. So I've been with GE since I came out of college and have basically taken new positions, I want to say like every 2, 3 to 4 years, just in different areas. And it's mainly because I mean, I love to learn new things and be challenged. So I've, kind of bopped around to try to, get new skills all the time. But I had stayed within one area, our MRI business, for a very long time. That was where I did, most of my real like technical learnings, and then ended up, finding different roles there. But there came a point where, I needed the opportunity that I was looking for wasn't there. And so I looked outside of the MRI business. And that was after being there for 20 years. And that was really hard for me. It was like leaving my family. I had, I had spent all my life there, and then I went to a totally new area where I didn't even join a group. It was like an individual project that I needed to define, and I needed to, figure out how to make it successful and figure out who all the people were, all the players were. And that was just such a big change for me, right? I mean, I was lonely. I was sad because I had left all my friends, and then kept second guessing. Okay, why did I do this? Why did I do this? I should have just stayed where I was comfortable. So those first few months were really hard. But I mean, soon things got more defined. I got to know my coworkers. I felt more comfortable in the new environment. And so, I mean, taking that role ended up being one of the best decisions I had ever made. I was very knowledgeable about what we call the imaging products, X-ray, CT, MR, PET, but like basically knew nothing about all the other great things that we do at GE Healthcare. We do patient monitoring, we build anesthesia machines, we have contrast agents, we build PACS systems. It really opened up my eyes to all these amazing products. So, and it also helped me grow my personal network. So these are connections that I still have today. Some of them became my mentors and my sponsors. Others, I still go to today when I have a question. So I guess, that experience taught me, to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And it really shapes the way that I work today. So though that was a rocky time for a couple of months there, looking back at it, it was really the right thing. And then just has made me more comfortable with change after going through, that specific challenge.
Excellent. I mean, I think all of us here can relate to what you're talking, Sheila. I mean, it doesn't mean right in the beginning, right? Every change, it's an uncomfortable situation, and really well said to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Thanks for sharing that, Sheila. Now, I just want to move on to another topic, another question. All the folks here, 46 viewers are here, so all of us are ambitious in one way or the other. So I would like to ask you guys, what does ambition mean to you? I know that definition is very, very personal to all of us. So as an ambitious woman, I mean, obviously with ambition is where we all have in the places we are in. So what does ambition mean to you? And what is your ambition, say, 5 years from now? You pick your timeline, 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, 1 year. So what is your ambition that you plan to achieve? And how do you plan to achieve it? And feel free to share why do you want to achieve this either, right? So it kind of brings some depth to our conversation. Yeah. Whoever would want to pick first, please go ahead.
I can take that one. I'll say that as I've progressed in my career, the definition of ambition for me has really changed. I think initially it was a lot, how do I get to the next level or build another skill or learn something new? And as I've gotten older, I think it's how do I feel content? It is actually, I would say, my main focus, right? We spend most of our time at work during the week. A lot of that stress kind of carries over. And so I think a lot of the ambition for me is to not feel like I have to be a different person at work than at home, to feel kind of authentic in myself, to take things less personally, right? There are skills that we can learn where we don't have to change our fundamentally who we are or our personality or anything like that. And so to me, I think right now the ambition is more holistic. And I think in being holistic, my hypothesis is that it'll end up paying off over time, because if I can be more rounded as a leader, as a colleague, that's going to have ripple effects to the culture and to the team. And so ultimately my ambition is I really want to change healthcare. I've worked in healthcare my whole career. I love healthcare. I want to make an impact. And I think the culture piece working at a healthcare company is so important. Make sure teams can work together. We're all passionate towards an end goal. And then when we bring in, new skill sets and perspectives, how do we actually come together? And I think that's really important. And I think that's what's needed at any healthcare company or health tech company to kind of make the impact of whatever vision they're on. So that's my 2 cents.
Oh, wow. Very well said. And then all of us being in GE Healthcare, this medtech company where we change lives every single minute of work that we do. It's such a satisfying job for sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. How about you, Sheila? What is your ambition?
Yeah, so I'm later in my career, and so my focus right now is to leverage all my experiences in the best way that I can, but still continue to learn new things and have fun. So I had referenced before how I had spent most of my career in the MRI business. I actually spent 31 of those 34 years there. And now I did this big change. I moved to the ultrasound business, which is big in the terms of it's new technology, it's a new product. I'm actually part of a team that's like being created from the ground up to take an idea that's all the, from a researchy kind of area all the way to product now. And so this is super, super exciting to me. So that's one aspect from the work part. But I also want to spend time like giving back to the company by being kind of a positive influence and role model wherever I can. So, I enjoy mentoring and coaching peers and engineers, participating in events like this and career fairs, being able to share my expertise across businesses and across functions since I've kind of got those connections. Being involved in different activities through the GE Women's Network, things like GE Girls, where we promote STEM fields to middle school girls. So for me, getting my like day-to-day job done is, one part, but the other major contribution for me is helping others grow, driving an environment that's energizing, motivating, facilitating teamwork. So that's kind of what I aspire to now and moving forward.
Wow. I mean, we can see the pulse of GE Healthcare and MedTech and serving community and sharing what you have, literally showing up with you, Sheila. So that's amazing. Thanks a lot for sharing that. And how about you, Sabitha? What's your ambition and how do you plan to achieve it?
Yeah, so I think, like everyone said, ambition could really have different meanings in general. So to me, ability to make an impact in any role that we play in terms of products or in terms of our people, bringing kind of a leadership amongst our own team is one of the ambition to me, because developing leaders does really take an important role as a leader. So I think while doing all of so, driving with the passion and conviction takes really the precedence. So again, unit of measures could really vary from person to person, but what keeps me inspired every day at work is what we are designing in our products with our advanced technologies, and in order to serve the purpose of our customers in terms of maternal infant care business, keeping our moms and babies healthy and safe all the times. So yeah, it's that vision and mission really keeps me inspired every day. So what's my ambition in next 1 year to 5 years, as an example? I think in our product portfolio today, so most of our products are really legacy products. So our key goal, I think what I really like to consider as a milestone for upcoming year is to launch some of the new products into the market. So there are emerging technologies that we could really deploy that could improve our care settings in the hospitals. So it could potentially be harmless when we are trying to really use kind of a combustion technologies in terms of wiring, in terms of adhesives to our neonates and infants whose skin is really, really sensitive. So we'll have to really come up with some of these advanced technologies and make sure that how can we really provide some kind of a care to our patient population. So that's really my goal. Goal is to really launch some of the key products that's going to serve the purpose to our care settings.
Excellent. Very nice to hear, Savitha, your passion in bringing more people to your level and beyond and enabling them with their leadership skills. That's excellent. Sheila, I'm going to ask you this question. You have been in GE Healthcare itself for almost 35 years now, and with so many different changes. Of course, you're focused on MR, but different parts of MR itself and different roles, from developer to product manager to program manager. And you and I have worked in delivering lots of AI products that have been saving people's lives, as we see in front of our eyes, right? So now, tell me your learnings. What have been your learnings so far? And I'm also curious as to what made you change to all these different roles. I would love to hear from you, Sheila.
Yeah, so I think you have to find like what motivates you. And so for me, it's been learning new technologies, working with new teams, learning new areas of the business. So whenever I got like too comfortable with my current job and felt like I wasn't being challenged, I looked for my next adventure. So that led to a lot of change. So and real recently, I kind of looked back at each of my roles and tried to capture, what I learned in every role, and it was pretty amazing, right? I mean, you start with a strong technical base, and then with each new role, right? One was related to team leading, so got to learn how to do a software, how to lead a software team. Then it was functional management, then it was program management, and every little thing, right, adds to your toolbox. And so for me, I think that it's just been kind of continuous learning, right? And everyone has a different approach, right? I mean, some people like to stay deep in an area and kind of grow technically. Other folks have more like maybe myself, where I, after a couple years, like to try something new, like to try to something brand new. And of course, that can be a little scary, but in the long run, it really just builds up your tool set and your skill set, right? And it's not just the technical skills, but also the soft skills as well, right? The influencing, being a good listener, an active listener, a clear communicator, right? Each of those jobs, like, gives you a different aspect of all the things that really help make you overall very effective in your roles. So again, this is more about like your comfort zone. It is difficult to switch jobs all the time, or switch roles all the time, and most of the time you're building on what you have, so it's not so dramatic. Every now and then there is a dramatic change. But regardless, I mean, I would encourage people to do what you like, learn new things, and enjoy what you do, because that's also the biggest thing, right? And I think Lou mentioned this. You spend a lot of time at work. A lot of your hours in a week is spent towards your work, and you really need to be happy at what you do, and excited and passionate about it. And so look for that to just be better fulfilled.
Awesome. Excellent. Very nice to hear. I mean, we all have to have fun for the number of hours. If not, it'll be too depressing, right? Why do we come to work, or start your online meetings every day in the morning? So absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Sheila. Now, Lou, we have a very interesting question for you. Thank you, Britt, for asking this question. So how did you make the mental shift to take things less personally? And Britt is also calling out that she believes in bringing her authentic self to work, but in some ways that pushes a mindset of taking things personally. So what were your tips and tricks to kind of overcome from taking things personally, especially when you are the only woman in a room with a bunch of men and people stop you from talking? Hey, no, how do you handle all these?
So it's definitely been a journey, and one that I have a feeling I'll continue to be on. I think for me, what I've learned, and I know this is going to sound probably obvious to some people, but for me, it took me a while to learn this. It took me a while to realize how much of my identity was wrapped up in myself at work. And I think that I had a hard time blurring the lines between a skill to develop for work versus a fundamental personality change that I have to make. And so a lot of it was just in my personal life, talking to friends, going to different coaches, doing a lot of therapy, of just understanding who I am in my past and starting to build these skills to recognize when am I reacting something because maybe it's actually triggering something from my past that's wrapped up in my identity at work. And working on myself personally has really helped me realize, okay, if someone has feedback to say, hey, you need to learn XYZ communication skill, that doesn't mean that I need to change my personality. It's just an additional skill to learn at work. And I think the other piece is being a loud, direct, gregarious woman, which I love. Yeah, not everyone's going to like me. And I think the more I can love myself and my own identity, the more some of the comments that are, because not all feedback is helpful, right? Some of them you want to take in, and some of it you're like, yeah, that's cool. You know, you don't like me. That's great. We can be professional. I can move on from that because I'm kind of filling myself up from within. So that's just been the strategy and journey that I've been on. It's never ending, especially as women. I feel like we are constantly scrutinized. So it's that in and of itself is a muscle I continue to grow and practice each day.
Wow, this is really profound, Lou. Filling ourselves from within and just loving ourselves first, right? So when you love yourself, then you are ready to love everybody around you, and then you're ready to make a larger impact.
I've read a lot of Brene Brown books for anyone who's a fan. Love her work.
There you go. Thanks for the tip as well, Lou. Sabitha, maybe a quick minute. Would you like to share either your learnings or how do you overcome all these, personal comments that people make to you? So seems like you're in a state where you have not, faced.
Can't hear you, Aruna.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. But I'm sure you have all your tips and tricks that will naturally come to you. So being a confident woman, I'm sure you know how to face. I think the key, as I'm seeing from all of the women here, and I'm sure with a lot of the audience as well, confidence and enjoying what you do. I just would like to quickly summarize the notes that I took. We are running out of time here. So embrace your challenges and consider your challenge as an opportunity. That's beautiful. Transparency in anything that you do, bring your authentic self and be honest. Don't think about your next jobs but think about the impact you will have 2 jobs from now. Wow, that's beautiful. And patience, comfortable being uncomfortable. Thanks for sharing that. And ambition. This blew my mind. Ambition is not about getting the next paycheck, like X dollars more, or getting to the next level, getting a different label in your title. None of those you guys said, but you have grown because you're passionate about what you do, and your confidence and your patience and talking about your skills, growing other people, serving the community. I'm so happy and proud to be part of all of working with all of you guys, being part of GE Healthcare, and we are all here to go beyond our limits and grow healthcare with no limits. And that said, thanks a lot, ladies. Ambitious, excellent, wonderful, lovely, loving ladies. Audience, if you'd like to join us in our journey of GE Healthcare, feel free to connect us with LinkedIn. Look at our career posts, and there's tons waiting for you. Thanks a lot, everyone.